Greetings, PlayStation adepts! Sony has announced which games will be added to the PS Plus Extra and Deluxe catalog in July. The first game to be added to PS Plus Extra in July is Cyberpunk 2077. It is a first-person action game with RPG elements, set in the megacity of Night City, where implants are widely used to enhance the body and senses or to gain new abilities. The player controls a mercenary named VI, who is tasked with stealing a mysterious biochip from the Arasaka Corporation, which will subsequently put VI's life in danger and force them to get involved in conflicts between corporations and various street gangs. The next game to be added to the subscription is called Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. The main characters of this adventure game are a couple of ghost banishers who must rid the city of New Eden of a dark curse. To do this, in addition to fighting numerous creatures, the player must communicate with the inhabitants and solve their problems related to ghosts, and the choice the player makes when passing judgment on the case will affect the ending of the game. On the day of its release, July 22nd, Abiotic Factor will be added to the catalog. It is a cooperative survival horror game with elements of science fiction. You play as scientists from the secret research center GATE, which studies anomalies and parallel worlds. As a result of a disaster, the complex is captured by monsters from other dimensions, and the characters are forced to fight for survival using improvised means and science. The player will have to gather resources, fight hunger and other needs, as well as craft items and fortify the base. In July, New World Aeternum will be added to the PS Plus Extra catalog. This is an MMORPG about the era of American colonization, but with a touch of magic, players create their character, level up to 10, and join a faction on whose side they will fight throughout the game. You can also build a home, join a guild with other players, go on dungeons and raids, gather resources, craft, trade, and do other MMORPG stuff. In general, if this game were distributed, I would be delighted to play it with you. The new game in the catalog will be Risk of Rain 2. This is a cooperative third-person roguelike shooter where you must choose one of several unique characters, such as Commando, Huntress, or Engineer, each with special skills and fighting styles, and survive on a hostile planet for as long as possible, fending off waves of monsters that become stronger over time. The next game to be added to the subscription is Tropico 6. It is an economic strategy game where the player takes on the role of a dictator of an island nation, leading it through 4 different eras and making the country's inhabitants happy while filling the bank account with money. This will not be easy, because as we know, the life of a dictator is the most miserable, and their reign is short and thorny. Planet Zoo will also be added to the catalog. The game lets you feel like a real zoo owner, where animals react realistically to their environment and other inhabitants. The main mechanics of the game include designing and managing large-scale zoos. Players create unique enclosures, change the landscape, lay paths, and monitor the well-being of the animals. Each pet has its own needs, and their health and behavior depend on their living conditions. In July, Bluey the video game will be added to the PS Plus Extra catalog. This is a family action-adventure game designed for children and fans of the animated series. Players can control Bluey, her sister Bing, and their parents Banjit and Chili. Deluxe and premium subscribers will have access to the survival races Twisted Metal 3 and Twisted Metal 4. Write in the comments how you like the additions, and I'll tell you about the games that will leave the subscription on July 15th. The first game leaving the subscription in July is Dying Light 2 Stay Human. The events of the second part take place 15 years after the zombie apocalypse. Humanity has regressed to the Middle Ages, and the resources necessary for life are becoming increasingly scarce, causing people to tear each other's throats out. The main character, Aiden, sets out to find his sister in a city cut off from the outside world, but upon arrival, he finds himself caught up in a feud between local gangs. The developers have made the parkour in the game more convenient and the combat a little more dynamic, but personally, I still prefer the first part. The next game leaving the subscription is Remnant 2. Cooperative, story-driven games don't come out that often, and good ones are even rarer. Remnant 2 is the sequel to the hardcore third-person shooter Remnant from the Ashes, where teams of up to 3 players must venture into terrifying worlds and battle new ruthless creatures and godlike bosses in procedurally generated locations. The developers have expanded on the ideas of the original and tried to improve the gameplay, diversify the locations and enemies, and prepare impressive bosses to fight. One of the main new features of the second part is the updated class system. Aeternum, which allows you to form your own playstyle by combining passive and active skills. Mount and Blade 2. Bannerlord is also leaving the subscription. This is an open-world action RPG where the player creates their own hero and sets off to explore the Calradian Empire, which is analogous to Rome during the formation of the early European kingdoms. Here, you can engage in banditry, fight in the arena, create a clan, and travel the world, complete quests, participate in large-scale battles, and even become the ruler of your own kingdom. On July 15th, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion will leave the subscription. This is a prequel to the remake of Final Fantasy VII, which tells the story of Zack Fair, Cloud's friend from the Seven and a member of the military organization, who is tasked with finding the missing soldier Genesis Rhapsodos. During the investigation, Zack will uncover the secrets of Rhapsodos' past, the truth about the mysterious Project G, and how two high-ranking members of the organization, Sephiroth and Angel Huli, are connected to the case. In addition, the story of the war between the Shinra Mega Corporation and the people of Wutai is told. The next game to leave the subscription is Vampire: The Masquerade Swansong. This is an adventure RPG in which the player controls 3 vampires with individual abilities and can switch between them during the game. The player can create characters according to their preferred playstyle by customizing their characteristics and available abilities. This affects how the characters interact with each other and what skills are available when exploring the game world. And since the game characters are often around humans, the player must use their supernatural abilities with caution so as not to reveal the vampire nature of their heroes. Throughout the game, characters will find themselves in difficult situations, and the player will have to make difficult moral choices about how to proceed. In July, the VR game Job Simulator will leave the PS Plus Deluxe catalog. This is a fun simulator that lets you play the role of an office worker, a store clerk, a cafe chef, and a car mechanic. The entire gameplay is spiced up with a decent dose of humor. If you like any of these games, hurry up and install them on your console and play. Access to them will close on July 15th. By the way, the list of departing games may not be final, and if any other games leave the subscription, write in the comments how you like these games. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss my new videos and know which games will officially be added to Essential, as well as games being added to and leaving the extra catalog. Play and win. See ya!